Hi! In this video, I would like to share some of the story behind my new Italian Renaissance organ, the first of its kind in Texas. As a performer on historical keyboard instruments, I am especially interested in Italian and Austrian music of the 17th century, and so is my early music ensemble, Harmonia Stellarum Houston. A lot of the music we play requires an organ for both solo and accompaniment. So it's been my and our greatest wish to have an instrument that represents the very particular sound world of an Italian organ around 1600, like, for example, this one. We're here in Peglio, on the north end of Lake Como in Italy, just hidden a little bit in the mountains towards Switzerland. And Peglio has this incredibly beautiful church with the most amazing, colorful frescoes. Between 1614 and 1623, Giovanni Mauro della Rovere, known as Il Fiamminghino, furnished the church with a rich cycle of frescoes. Particularly impressive are the ones in the choir depicting scenes from the Last Judgment and infernal images. But not only that, they also have this incredible organ that you can see behind me. This instrument, as it turns out, was built sometime between 1608 and 1627 by Costanzo Antegnati, perhaps the Stradivari or the Ruccas of 17th century Italian organ making. The organ was in fact only recently restored by the careful hands of Giovanni Pradella. One of the most important characteristics of Italian organs in the 16th and 17th centuries is the distinct timbre of their foundational stop, the so-called principale, which, as contemporary sources tell us, was the main stop used for accompanying instruments and singers. An Italian principale has a more narrow, clearer sound than many of its typical northern German counterparts, and is particularly useful when playing with other instruments or voices. Here is what the principale of the Antegnati in Peglio sounds like. Italian organs don't normally have any stopped flutes with their rather boomy sound that you would find in a typical modern organ positive. When there is a flute, it sounds typically an octave higher, it's a flauto in ottava, and its pipes are made from metal and they're open, which gives the sound just a lovely clarity and is one of my favorite colors in an Italian organ. Currently, there is probably no one who knows the organ in Peglio better than organ maker Giovanni Pradella, who was responsible for its really exemplary restoration about 10 years ago. He's also been a really good friend for many years, so he was the obvious choice to make a slightly smaller and perhaps slightly more transportable version of the Peglio Antegnati for Houston. Most everything in the Pradella workshop is made from scratch and according to historical methods. Roberto is cutting off strips of a piece of tin that he had cast earlier onto a sand bed, and Esther is hammering them into tubular shape. Matteo is watching Roberto as he solders the tubes into a pipe. And here's the final result. The interior pipes, like ottava or flauto in ottava, are made almost completely out of lead. However, the pipes in the facade, to get their pretty shininess, are made out of tin. Here the guys are installing the pipes of the facade for the first time, while Giovanni is discussing matters of decoration with restorator Giorgio and the boss of the house, his wife, Simona. In addition to an electric motor, the organ also has two actual wedge-shaped bellows that can be drawn by hand. The visible parts of the keyboard are mainly made out of walnut and boxwood. The keyboard also shows a particular 17th century specialty. As you can see, some of the accidentals are actually subdivided. So while, for example, on the modern piano, E flat and D sharp are the same key, on this organ, which is in so-called mean tone temperament, they're not. And here it is in all its beauty, albeit maybe a little naked, waiting to get painted. We are just beyond excited to finally welcome this fantastic instrument in Houston. Please come and celebrate with me and Harmonia Stellarum on April the 21st at 7:30 at the Rice Shepherd School of Music with a big concert of sacred music by Monteverdi and contemporaries. And on April the 22nd at 7 p.m. at First Lutheran at 1311 Holman, where the master himself, Giovanni Pradella, will give a presentation on the secrets of the first Renaissance organ in Texas.